Do you have a child that just is constantly moving while they're learning or just wants to reach out and touch and do and see? Chances are they are the third of our learning styles. We've had visual, audio, and the kinesthetic learning style, that tactile. I love these kids because of the way that they do want to touch and see and do. And today I want to give you some resources to help ignite the spark of learning in them. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life, and thank you so much for joining me today. And if you haven't yet, why not subscribe and like and share with a friend? Thank you so much for taking the time to be watching these videos, and thank you for being part of this community. Well, this is the third video on a three-part of looking at the learning styles and some resources. I just wanted to help provide some resources that we can use to really encourage our children in lighting that spark of learning. So yes, the kinesthetic learner, that's what I want to look at today. The child that has to move, to touch, to do, to manipulate, to sort of physically be part of that learning. For them, just the reading, the listening, the looking is not quite enough. And now, sadly, I think that these are a group of students that we've really sort of let down in the school system. Honestly, I don't think we've meant to. We're not really sure what to do with these kids. They just want to touch and do and move and see. And we're expecting so much sort of seat work that it's got to get a little frustrating for them. I have one of those. She's often moving while learning. Sitting still and learning for her is not a good thing. It's just a sign that her body needs to be involved. And we see that with these children. They want to be reaching out. Oh, how did that get together? They're pulling things apart. They're wanting to see things and to know, they just actually have to be physically involved in their learning somehow. Writing isn't enough. Reading isn't enough. They want to be actually doing and physically, being part of that process. Now, I did do a video on how we can support our kinesthetic learners. Check that out. But today, here are some resources that I want to give you. And honestly, I think our kinesthetic learners have hit the jackpot in this. Finally, we sort of have all these resources that are actually going to help them. And really, a lot of these online games and everything are great because they are involved in their learning. They're actually physically moving and manipulating things in order to learn. And this is phenomenal. So woo for them. Cooking and art classes on YouTube. There are so many great classes. It doesn't have to be cooking or art. It could be you want to learn to knit, you learn how to knit. There are so many great tutorials. And what is great for our kinesthetic learners is they can watch and do at the same time. Art Hub is fantastic for this, where they're actually going along and doing the art with them. Art classes, cooking classes in the physical are great, but if we can't get to them or, interests are changing, why not find a great tutorial on YouTube where they can learn along with them to actually physically do it as they are learning? PhET interactive simulations. Yeah, big word. This is brought out by the University of Boulder, Colorado. These are science labs. Great for our older students that they can get in and they are interactive, these interactive simulations, especially for our kinesthetic learners, when it comes to science and maybe schools don't have all the labs or you're homeschooling and you don't have all the labs. This is a phenomenal resource to get your kinesthetic learners involved in scientific labs, maybe without the danger aspect. Codespark.com. Coding is wonderful. It really is. And for our kinesthetic learners that they are taking and doing and that they're manipulating so that something happens, this is fantastic. Now, coding really is great for any child, especially if they're interested in those processes. But this is something great that our children are physically involved in what they are doing. Again, this is what we want to sort of touch into, that they want to be actively involved in their learning, and to be able to code and to see it happening is fantastic. Quizlet and Quia. Now, I talked about Quizlet in our visual learners just because it's great for things like note cards. Well, this is where it's great for our kinesthetic learners, is they get to create their notes. They get to create. They're doing, or, they're flipping something. Again, even if it's a click of a mouse or touch on the screen, their hands, their bodies are actually physically involved in this. And this is what is wonderful for them. So Quizlet and Quia are good for that. Great study tools that they're actually using their bodies in moving as they're taking and they're learning. There are so many great websites. Again, just because we can be doing things. They are iExcel Learning, Education Galaxy, and education.com. They are just 3 of many. Really, so many great ones. And there's math game ones and English game ones, Teach Your Monster to Read, doing all of these different things. There are so many great websites out there, and I will put some of these on the blog post for you. But these are wonderful because, again, they are physically manipulating as they're moving. I look at some of in that hand-eye coordination, like of my daughter, what she can do on the Wii. I mean, I can't. I just watch the way that she just gets in because her whole body is involved. We're not just little nunchucking. The whole body is going. When it comes to bowling, the whole body is there. But it shows how she's learning. And so these websites are great as they can manipulate and do. Arcademics. It's taking arcade games and academics and making them a beautiful connection. Again, games, and these are online. Of course, our kinesthetic learners, anything that we can do in the physical is also great. But again, wow, that they can be connecting their hand, their eyes, that great hand-eye coordination in these games online is fantastic. As I said, I really think they've hit the jackpot on so many great resources for them to ignite that spark, to realize that they can be doing while they are learning, which is what we want for them. Now, I'm going to have all of these resources available on the blog post, so you can check that out at LearningThis.Life. And if you have other resources that you know and love and would love to share them, please let me know, because I'd love to create a database, and I'm always researching, always learning. I love finding new things that are just great tools, especially for really encouraging that love of learning and just helping children just see, just because I learn this way doesn't make it wrong, or it's not different. It's just me, and we can do whatever we can to encourage them. Well, thank you so much for watching today and for being part of this community. If you like these videos and would like to see more being developed, you can join us as a champion, and you can do that through patreon.com, or you can also check that out on LearningThis.Life. But above all, thank you so much for watching.